Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Cities Skylines. We are back here in Cawfields, our fledgling new city with a nice population of just under 1,500 citizens and a decent weekly profit of around about $2,000, pounds, or whatever we want to call the currency here. Unfortunately, that means we're close to our new milestone. Well, I wouldn't say that was unfortunate, it's very fortunate. It just means I'm having to start recording this episode a little bit early. I wanted to build my coffers a little bit before we moved on to the next phases of development, but unfortunately, because I want to record all of the milestones that this city hits, we're going to have to start a little early. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the plans that I have moving forward as we continue to expand. So let's dive into it. Now, my first plans for today are to kind of have a look at what we also have available to us in terms of our natural resources. If we look over here, there's a nice bit of forest there that we can start exploiting, and down here as well. So we could set up a new industry in these areas here. We can also continue to expand our farmland industry as well, and that should really help us out. So rather than buying a new plot of land, we will continue expanding our farming operations. That's a lovely stretch of land there, and I think that's going to really help us out. What we can then do is start expanding our residential areas into the section over here where this nice green space is, and obviously that's going to interfere a little bit with our sewage pipe, and we'll have to do a little bit of jiggery-pokery with our power. But the thing that I'm more concerned about right now is in these shops we are now having a lack of educated workers, and that is due to the fact that a lot of our current population doesn't have a high school education. So what we can probably do now is, I guess we'll get an Institute of Creative Arts, because that's my background. So that's what I'm going to be building next, and also getting the public library down. Now, to do this, we're just going to let things run for a little bit. My original plan was to just build a bit of money up so I could actually do those things. And like I said, we're about to hit our next milestone. So we're going to let things just speed through. And I'm just going to start mapping out a next district in terms of my residential areas. So if we get some two-way roads here, and again we're going to go with a sidewalk, and unfortunately we're going to have to vacate these people from their residence, because our new road is going to go right through here, and we're going to have it loop further because we want to avoid that sewage runoff. And just carry on progressing into this area here. We'll leave a nice big gap away from the sewer, and then we'll start curving our road around. And I know a lot of people, when they're doing the early game here, they like to create dedicated, I don't know, I guess you could call them New York style streets, and I really don't want to do that. I want some sort of nice decorative looking sprawling suburban households in here that have quite a nice road layout. So it's not the most attractive looking area at the moment, but I imagine getting parks and forests and stuff going in here, some nice little commercial districts and zones thrown in the middle here. In fact, I think we'll map that in now. We'll have a lovely little commercial street going in here. So if we can just run a nice parallel singular street down here that is in a straight line, we'll just run it all the way along here like so, and then another one going all the way along here like that. This will form up a little bit of a commercial zone, and we'll come across here, and we just want to try and separate residences from this area here. So we've got some lovely little spaces there that we can then add in a small commercial hub right there. And then we'll not have houses on either side of it. We can put in some parks and things like that. So we'll put another couple of commercial areas there, and then I'll add some here and some here. And I think that should do it for those areas. And what we'll eventually do is we'll convert all of these to office spaces in the future. So let's go back with our general residential districts, and we'll start mapping some of those out as well. We're not going to put any in the middle there because that is going to back out into the commercial zone and I don't want that to happen. So we'll just continue running these nice residences all the way along here, and we'll go back to our waterfront properties and add in a few more there. Now, as you can see, we do need to work out the pipe work here. So we're just going to run a water main all the way along here. We'll go here and then we'll run one to there, and then coming up into the residential areas, going all the way along that backbone there, curving all the way around. And I don't want to go too far into my farmland district because I plan on utilizing as much of that space as we possibly can. So we'll just get that all linked up with the network there. And we've got plenty of power going to this district as well because more people are starting to move in. But unfortunately, we have to just consider that we may need another wind turbine. But we don't have any people in yet. So this could have been a bad move for us. We've got sewage backing up as well, which means we're going to have to just slow things down and just improve the budget for our water up to 100%. And that should solve those issues. We'll also get healthcare back up to 100% because why not? The people need looking after. Yeah, we leave it at 99%. But power is a little bit of an issue. And without getting more money in, it's going to continue to be an issue because we need to build a wind turbine. They cost 6,000. We're getting there, though. Once we have that solved, we'll be in a better position. But as more people move to the city, we're going to get more people, more money coming in, which means we'll be able to solve this power issue very quickly. And you can see it's starting to have a widespread effect on other districts where we're getting rolling blackouts. We've got a couple of abandoned buildings in that farm district. Our sewage has stopped running due to a lack of power, but we now have the 6,000 required to put in a new wind turbine. And that should see all of the power issues vanish, as if by magic. There we go. And the sewage issue is also sorted out. That's good. Money continuing to roll in, though. All of our new commercial zones have now set up. We do have a fire there, but hopefully our fire department is going to be quick to act. Yeah, there we go. They've got there nice and quick, and that has been extinguished. This is good. So, with that in mind, we're going to continue to expand. I can see a nice little space here where we can put in another curved street that just runs along the back of our commercial zone here. We'll run that all the way through there. It does take out a couple of houses, but we can then add in some more houses on one side of it. And like I've said, I don't want to add houses where they're going to be facing the commercial district because it's too loud. So that street is kind of negated there, although we could actually put some houses down here and it shouldn't be an issue. We'll put some trees or something in there, get a couple of parks in, and then that should solve that. And then we will do the same here, just another curved street that runs around there and links up. Then we'll paint in some more shops, more residences, and people will start moving in. So we are probably going to hit our next milestone, I need to mention, and this is good, but also it means that we're going to have to just take a bit of time to let things grow naturally and bring in some more money. We're doing pretty good, though, in terms of our finances. We are pulling in quite a bit of cash every week, and that's pretty much what I want to see. And oh, I don't want to put houses here. We're going to D-zone that. Yeah, we want to leave that as an open space, although actually we can put in some houses just along this waterfront here. So we'll let them build their house that they really want to build there, but we're going to leave that, and then we'll continue on in this space here with some nice waterfront properties. And then we will once again continue a lovely little street going through here and into there. Right, okay, I think that just about finishes off the residential district on this side of the map. And what we're going to then need to do is hope that the pollution on the original industrial area has kind of disappeared I see we've got some water issues. It's because there's no pipe network there, so we're going to have to rectify that right now. We can just hook that up. I'm going to hook it up to here. You don't need to do this, but I want to, so that's that going in. Wonderful. And yeah, so the pollution over here we need to sort out. It looks like most of it has vanished, which is really good. It means we can start planning another residential area here, but for now we'll leave that because the demand for residential areas is pretty low. What we do need is more commercial and more industrial. And industrial is what we're going to do now. Oh, here we go. Here's the milestone. It's Boomtown. Excellent. Right, so this brings transport, a ferry, the bus, tours, taxi, and a postal service. And a tram. It also gives us the ore industry specialisation and some new policies that are very interesting to us. We've also unlocked a bunch of new roads, including bus lanes, which will probably help us quite a bit as we move into a phase where we're going to be able to expand further. We have also unlocked, importantly, the cemetery and a couple of other healthcare centres. These are all really useful because they're going to allow us to unlock even more things for our citizens. However, with this, it brings a load of new organisational things we're going to need to play around with. Now, unfortunately, I don't yet have the experience in managing this. Most of my cities get to around about the 10,000 population mark, and they start really dovetailing and falling apart. I'm hoping to avoid that this time. Now, let's have a look what we did get. We've got the advanced coal power plant and the general coal power plant. We've also unlocked the advanced wind turbine, which produce a lot of power. You can put these in the water and on land as well. They have a nice... no, it's just water. So what we could do is start replacing these normal wind turbines with the actual advanced wind turbines. They cost twice as much, but they put out a lot more power. So if we start converting this, we'll actually end up using less of them. We can decommission these windmills and start utilizing the space along here to continue expanding some nice waterfront properties in our residential areas. But none of that means a thing, because right now industry is the most important part in our city. So we're going to continue expanding the farm districts over here at the Smith district. We're going to continue to bring in some new areas here. This is going to clear out some farms, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's going to allow us to add more in. And you can see here we've got this nice service road that goes all the way along and loops back on itself. So this is going to become our main road for the new farming district. It's probably going to lead to a lot of traffic, so we're probably going to need to make this a 2-lane one-way road or something, or like increase the amount of traffic that we're going to be able to put through there. But for now, this allows us to expand our farms massively. So we're going to continue to run that all the way along, and then we're going to run it to here, and we will also run it right next to the motorway as well, which wasn't my initial intention, but I think that is going to really help us out and allow us to expand that industry at an exponential rate. However, it does come with its own caveats of a lot of power draw, so we are going to throw down one of these advanced wind turbines right on the coastline here. And we'll throw another one here. Now that should set us up very nicely for our power and help our city recover from any deficit that is going to start cropping up as we expand. But this is a good position to be in. We have some commercial districts that are obviously popping up that we're going to need to sort out. And obviously I want to start zoning some offices and stuff, but we need to get a population of 7,500 to actually do that. We can then get high density commercial at 7,500 as well, and high density residential. Now, I don't want any high density residential over here. I quite like this little suburban district, but over here we may start creating a miniature city centre. As you can see, buildings are starting to level up as well, which is really good. But before I move on any further, we are going to have to put down our Institute of Creative Arts. But before that, we'll stick a public library in. And our public library will go in this kind of little commercial district here. Once that goes in place, that should start educating our adults a little bit more and allow them to access some viable and very useful resources. And that reminds me, public transport is going to be huge as well. So we'll have to get a bus stop and a bus network put in place, ideally with some bus lanes as well. And what that could do is just start transporting people from like residential areas to the public library. As you can see, the actual public library does not have a great range, but if we do improve the money we're investing in education, that will continue to improve, and the actual area of effect will probably go a little bit bigger, which means we'll be able to have more people coming to this library and making good use of it. So at the moment, we're kind of still short on commercial. And it could be that it's time to start building that middle commercial zone that I talked about in the first episode. But to do that, we are going to need to make sure that our roads are set up accordingly. So if we take a road here, and we have a little look along, I think we have our... Do we have the two? No, we need a 3-lane road. That's a 4-lane. And that's a 3-lane. I think these are all 3 lanes. So we should now be able to upgrade these. No, that's going the wrong way. To a 3. No. Is it a highway? Is it a highway? I think it might be a highway. 2-lane highway? Yes, it's a highway. Okay, so we'll continue running this highway all the way along, upgrading that, and then we'll go back the other way, curve this, and match it up. There we go. Right, so we've now kind of created this semi-snarling, horrible-looking intersection here, but it is going to do the job, and that should allow us to start zoning some commercial. But we can't do it on the highway now because that's not an area where people are going to be able to park. So, if we make a small commercial district here, I think this should be a good idea. So what we'll do is we'll get a 2-way road, and we will not go with a highway this time. We'll just go with our basic roads. 2-way road, and we want a 4-lane road here that will just curve off at a right angle. And it will then go to a straight road that just goes all the way up to here. And we'll have it merge here. In fact, we'll use this as the barometer. So we'll get rid of these roads here. We don't need them. And we can then maybe put a second roundabout in. But this is essentially going to be our shopping precinct. It's not going to be huge. It will run alongside the motorway here. Come down. Cut back across. And in. We've gone a little bit too far there. So we'll go back to this and then bring this all the way down so it matches up with there. And then we have a small shopping precinct. And this is where we could start putting in little bus terminals and stuff. And we can start servicing this area as best we can. We don't want it too close to the garbage dump though. So that again is probably something that I'm going to move very soon. And we will have it kind of tail off there. And then it merges back with the rest of the city. So we'll then zone in our commercial right here. We can put in a few parks and stuff on, maybe in the middle. That should probably be a better idea for a park or a plaza. And then people can come here and have a nice day out shopping or something. And it just gives people something to do. And we will make sure that it's all connected to our water grid. Again, you'll have to accept my apologies because the water layout here is not amazing, but we will probably get to a point in the future where we should redevelop this entire area. And that's going to allow us to just redevelop the whole thing, give it a bit of an overhaul, and bring in some more structure to the actual city. I'm quite happy with the residential area and the way it's kind of sprawling and growing out, but for now, oh, we've got some death there. So I think what we're going to need to do is get a cemetery as soon as possible. So we've got a cemetery here that we can put down, and I think maybe going along here is going to be a good idea for it. It does get rid of some houses, I think they were. No, it was commercial. But that's okay because we have a new commercial zone. So we can put some parks and grasslands and stuff, and maybe put in a few trees and things here, and that will definitely help to develop things a little bit further, make it look a lot nicer, and we can throw down some nice like vegetation and things to really make our city start to thrive. And I will probably do a decorative episode once I've got a bit more money in the bank, but for now I think that's probably as best we're going to get today, and now it's going to be a good time to just let things advance at a bit of a natural rate and bring in a little bit more cash to help us out in the long term. I'm having a lot of fun though. It's quite nice to just actually experience the city starting to jump up from nothing. We are going to need to put a little bit more money into our water. So if we just go to our budget and add in, let's go to about 120%, because I'm just starting to see things tail off there in terms of our water use. We have a lot of uneducated workers again. That is a problem, and you can see the river of sludge starting to expand. So we're going to need to treat our water a little bit better soon. But our farming is going pretty well. We do have a couple of... Oh, these aren't part of the zone. That's an issue. That's an issue. We need to sort that out now. I didn't expand the zone. So if we find our district here, the Smith district, we need to expand it. That was a very big mistake on my part. So hopefully they'll all start going now. We don't want them here. It's farmland only. Thank you very much. And frustratingly, that has now become polluted. And I think it may actually affect the fertility. It doesn't, which is good. But yes, that was not a good move. So we hopefully we'll get that recovering very quickly. We'll get more farms popping up, and it should solve all of the issues there. I've just made a lot of people unemployed, but yeah, we can't be having that here. Got some container parks and stuff there as well. Right, they're all gone, and they should now start being replaced by farms like here, the Orchard Company. But that's good. We've got money coming in, and we're making quite a bit of money now, which is really good, despite the fact that we are only at around about just under 3,000 in terms of population. Our next milestone probably isn't that far away, but if you kind of look at the development of things, we have reached a little bit of a plateau here, which is good, because this is my kind of opportunity to start just letting the coffers build a little bit, putting in some nice new infrastructure, like the high school. We do need to put in that, and we could also do with some more medical care stuff. So there's a child health care centre, which increases the birth rate within the radius of the building, and then the elder care, which is a healthcare facility with targeted treatment towards the elderly. Now, we don't actually need any of those right now, because if we just go down to our... Where's our medical clinic? That's the police station. That's the community school. That's the firehouse. There it is, the medical clinic. We have one patient last week. So the health of the city is pretty good, and I think we get decent coverage there. So that kind of eliminates the need for that right now. But an Institute of Creative Arts would be a very good idea. We'll put it over in this side of the city. Or we could just go with the standard high school, but I think it looks horrific. It's very Soviet bloc looking, and it's not what I want from my city, which is why the Institute of Creative Arts is what I favour in this circumstance. And we don't need any more fire brigade sort of stuff at the moment. Everything is going to plan for now. You can see here we've got some unique buildings here, which we can do if we assign an industry area to farming, which we could do here eventually. I'm not quite sure how any of this works, so I think we'll probably, once we get to a decent population and we've got some money in and we've managed to stabilize things a little bit and coped with the boom, I think we should start looking at some of those more advanced tools where you assign certain industries and you make these little farm buildings and stuff. There's processing, extractor, storage, then net structures, which I guess are for fencing and stuff, yeah, and then these main buildings where you upgrade your farming area. Now, I did play around with a little bit of that on stream when we were using the fisheries section. We've got a big fire here. But the brigade get there pretty quickly, which is really good to see. That means the traffic is coping well with the changes here and the expansion. It might mean oh god, it is spreading pretty quick, so that's not good. Amy's Baking Company, you are done. Now, unfortunately, you do see a little bit of an issue there where our fire trucks have had to loop all the way around the one-way street to get to this area. And that is not good. But it basically means that we will have to make this a two-way road very soon and maybe make all of the exterior road work two-way. And then just little one-way streets in between. They have managed to extinguish the fire, but we are going to demolish the burnt-out husks of the buildings there. And I think we should be about to get to our boomtown. We've got a couple of abandoned buildings here, and again, that is due to the education. Businesses are leaving because we don't have educated citizens here with a high enough education rating. And unfortunately, I am going to have to put down another windmill here. Which eats into my budget that I was planning on spending on my new education areas. But that's not too much of an issue. We are not far off the Institute of Creative Arts. I think it's going to be a couple of weeks. And then once that goes down, hopefully we'll start educating some of our young adults and teenagers. And then eventually those issues that we're having over here in places like the drugstore here, where we need well-educated workers. I think that's a university education, so we may never get that yet. But if we get this in, get people in education, we will start having some nice new buildings and new citizens with better education so we can continue to expand this place. Looking around, I can't see anywhere where I can put my new... Oh, there we go. And I think we'll get rid of... Yeah, so that's gone down. And then we'll just de-zone these houses here. I don't really want houses next to the new education centre. So we'll get rid of them. Get rid of them. We'll get rid of that and that. And then we'll put in our first parks. Now, there are some really like advanced looking and good parks in the game where you can kind of design your own. But I'm not up for that right now. So we will be putting in some little basketball court right there. And then we can put down a couple of little plazas and parks as well. So the Japanese garden is always a nice one. We'll put a Japanese garden there. And then we will just come out of this overlay. And we should be able to start putting down some trees and stuff. So we'll add in a couple of nice looking trees and gardens and stuff. That's the school entrance there. We can just about fit another tree in, and then we'll put down a couple of bushes. And let's see, what else have we got here? We can put in some of these, have them kind of, they do kind of lean across into the school itself, but that's not too much of an issue. It just looks a bit like an overgrown bushwork, which is nice. We've got a couple of issues where it'll kind of stick out, but it's okay. I think it looks nice. It gives it a nice bit of vibrancy. We can just about fit them in. And as you can see, we'll start getting some more educated workers coming in through this as well, which is what we need to continue expanding the city. I don't want it to go out onto the actual street itself. So we've got this little overgrown area here now. It doesn't look amazing, but it gives you an idea. And you can see here we have 465 students at the high school. I put down the high school, didn't I? And I meant to put down the Institute of Creative Arts. In fact, it hasn't actually displayed as the Institute of Creative Arts. It's just displayed as a basic high school. That's because I've clicked the wrong thing. How annoying. Yeah, we're getting rid of that. Didn't even give us much money back by the looks of things. That's what I want. So I did just get rid of all of that residential area for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We're about 30 minutes in and we need to make another 30,000. So I don't know what happened there. I think I was just selecting the wrong stuff and it's kind of led to a little bit of chaos. So we're going to remove these things because they were put in as part of something else and now that is completely useless and redundant. What I might do though is try and just speedily put together something that squares off this area. We at least have our basketball court and our parks in place, which is quite nice. It gives a little bit of a flair to this residential area. Okay, we're at 24,000 though. We're making a nice bit of money, so it's not too much of an issue if we run into little problems like that. The basketball court's being used and we can probably put in a few other parks and plazas and things. But for now, we will just have a quick look at what we can do in terms of getting our school back in. About £2,000 away, so that's fine. We'll get that Institute of Creative Arts put in place to educate our teens. Almost there. And there we have it. Right, we can now, after much hoo-ha, put in our Creative Arts. There we go, the Institute of Creative Arts has now arrived. It's right next to that Japanese garden. I think that looks really nice. And yeah, we now have, so there's less students there. But they are now coming to our Institute of Creative Arts. And that kind of solves that issue. So next we will probably put in some nice little park areas. Maybe we'll get another plaza down here. So we can put a small park in here at the back, quite close to the new education area. What about the dog park? We'll put the dog park right next to the basketball court here. And then we can probably make this look a bit more forested. We'll put a little parking lot here as well. And then that just means that people will be able to drive here. They'll make use of that parking lot. And they can then access things like the dog park and the basketball court. And of course, it'll be a bit of a residual car park for our Institute of Creative Arts. Maybe I should have put it there instead, next to the Institute of Creative Arts. Let's do that instead. We'll get rid of the one that's here. And then we may need to upgrade the road there to facilitate that a little bit better. We also have a tennis court here, which we'll put on the opposite side of the dog park. So we have a nice dog park and then a tennis court as well as the basketball court. And this is now becoming a nice little area, all built around the school. We've got the cemetery in the background there, and then we'll be able to add in some nice green spaces and things as well. We are seeing a decline in our population at the moment, and we have an increased demand for new residential areas. So what I'll do is, before I finish, we will wrap around a brand new residential district. Ideally a 2-lane road with sidewalks, and it's going to kind of shoot off from this area here and curve. Then we can just about paint in some brand new residential areas all the way along this street. And no more residential area in this space. If we are going to put any more in, we'll be redeveloping this whole area. But for now, I'm pretty happy with that. Everybody's happy. We've got some abandoned businesses over here. What is this? What's happening here? Not enough customers, but customers are coming now, so that's fine. These commercial zones, we'll get rid of the abandoned buildings. Got some crime there as well. Another abandoned building. Okay, we've got quite a few abandoned commercial buildings. I'm going to get rid of these ones here. We've got a fire as well, but the fire brigade are getting there pretty quickly. This landfill site is 44% full, and our recycling is going okay, but obviously there's more we can do here. So we will just leave it there. So let's have a quick look at our city. It's, oh god, that's too quick. We don't want to see that. Let's, that's better. We slow it down, and here we go. Right, so Cawfields has increased its population. We've expanded our industrial areas and built a nice new commercial zone. We've also got our first high school in the form of our School of Creative Arts and our commercial zones are starting to expand as well. We've increased our power output and our water coverage, and things are looking pretty good. Our citizens are healthy, crime is low, and the risk of fire is pretty small too. I hope you've enjoyed this episode coming back to Cawfields. I mean, I know this was a bit of an unexpected one, and I wasn't expecting to have to do it myself, but having almost hit our next milestone, I thought it was good to do that. Next episode, we will probably hit our next milestones as well, but I thought it was nice to just come back and have a little chat about how things are going here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.